Literally, I gave myself a buzz cut yesterday, and we have a huge storm in the UK now. I was like, summer haircut? No, it looks like it's fully October. Hello everybody, my name is Vero, this is Vero Reads, and today I just want to give you a quick update because I've not been reading anything. So I haven't made videos in the past couple of weeks, which is not super unusual, but it is strange because I was in the middle of Genos in July. I think I've made just one video about Genos in July and that's it, but I have like a roster, like 3, 4, maybe 5 videos about Genos in July that are half finished. They're just on my laptop, but they're half edited, or I haven't started editing it, or they're almost done, but I haven't finished them. And that's because of a bunch of reasons. Main reason is I had a lot of work and I had some issues at work and I had to focus in. But another big reason is that I switched my video editing program, and so I've had to start from scratch with learning this new editing software. I was on CapCut before, and I really liked using it. I was really enjoying it, but they did 2 things. First, they made it so with the free version you could only edit 2 videos a week, which was okay, but then they also made a thing where they basically said, hey, just so you know, all your images technically belong to us. We're not gonna do anything with them, but just so you know, technically all your video images belong to CapCut. And I was like, no, thank you. So I moved away from that. I went to DaVinci Resolve, but I'm still learning. It took me such a long time to figure out CapCut, and now I have to figure out another one, and I hate that. But I've heard great things about DaVinci Resolve. Is it DaVinci Resolve? Yeah, that one. If you have a very simple editing software that's not Mac or Apple, because I don't have Apple Mac products, but if you have a really good free editing software that's simple to use and good for this type of videos, very simple videos, let me know in the comments, because DaVinci is great, but it's also like it's a bit too advanced for what I needed to do. I'm very basic at editing, so there's so many things that I don't care about that kind of clutter everything. But I will use that for now, but I'm still learning how to do it. That's why like I have so many half-finished videos, and that's why I couldn't put out videos this past July, because with CapCut I was able to edit quite quickly. It still took me a while, but with DaVinci it takes me like days to edit one very simple video, and I wanted to do reading vlogs, and those take even more time. So I got like, on top of work being hectic, I was just like, you know what, it's fine. But I do still have that content. I do still have Genos in July videos that I could slowly release. It's just that it's not Genos in July anymore, and so my brain is like, well, it's gone, missed opportunity, that's it. But let me know if you still want to see those videos and you don't mind that they're gonna come out in August, if not September. If you still want to watch them, I'll figure it out. I hope this video comes out. I want to make it very simple editing so it can come out, and at least you have an update, but we'll see. Then another reason why Genos in July has finished, or I could have made some other content about books, but another reason is because I've been so overwhelmed lately with everything. I have not been reading. I mean, okay, so I finished my last book 10 days ago, and it was a Jane Austen July book. And then I was reading some more, and then I was just full reading slump, couldn't read anything. And I felt my brain going slowly atrophized. So I really wasn't in the mood to pick up a book because my brain was working overtime constantly. So at the moment, I'm really not in the mood to pick up a book. There's nothing that interests me. I mean, recommend me a book. You never know. Maybe yours is the one that will switch it, because I know that this is what happens. I just need to let it go, to be like, I'm not reading books now, and then it will come back. It's always like that, and usually it comes back when I feel more relaxed and I have more free time on my hands. But in the meantime, I've not been reading books, but technically I have been reading because I'm getting into comics, because I watched the Superman movie twice, and I'm so happy I watched it, because I tend to, when something is really hyped, I tend to not watch it and wait for the hype to die down, and then I miss out on, all the hype. So I'm really happy I watched it now, and I can be hyped up with all the other people that are hyped up about the movie. It's such a great movie, so funny, so political, so colorful and emotional and hopeful, and just very entertaining, but also very it makes you feel things. Please go watch that movie. I think you will not regret it. I mean, unless you really hate comic book movies, I get that. But it is a great movie. It is a great movie, and I'm really happy about it. Also, very neurodivergent coded. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to watch it, because it was really neurodivergent coded. So yeah, after watching the Superman movie, I was like, okay, I really like the movie. Should I start reading comic books? And I feel because after this movie, the comic book community was like, hey, this is really refreshing, and a lot of people have started putting out content for newbies, so like me, people that have never been constantly into comic books. And so there's a lot of great resources for beginners, and so I've started reading comic books, and I'm really happy about it. I finished a couple, and I'm in the middle of a couple, and also there's some that are ongoing. How comic books work, you have the single issue that comes out once a month, and then they a few issues get put together in what is called a trade paperback. So you have paperbacks, hardbacks, that are a collection of single issues. So, and this is important, why? Because I don't know, first of all, I don't know if anybody cares on BookTube, but if you do, let's have a chat. Because do you track your comic books on as books that you've been reading? What I've come to do is, if I'm reading a single issue, I don't track it on Storygraph. But if I read a trade paperbacks, which is usually a full story arc that's concluded, I do track that on Storygraph. And in my head, it's because, first of all, there's so many single issues, because literally it's a chapter, and so I don't wanna clutter my Storygraph. But second of all, a single issue is usually not start, middle, and end, whereas a trade paperback usually is a full story arc completed. So you would call it either a full story, a full book, or if you have volume 1, volume 2, volume 3, it's the books in a series, I don't know, the Poppy War, the Dragon Republic, and so and so. So on my Storygraph, I have been tracking the finished stories, the paperbacks, but not the single issues. If there's anybody else that's reading comic books, let me know how you do it. If you're a comic book reader and also a novel reader, let me know how you do it. And now I want to talk about the comic books that I've read so far. So I finished 2 trade paperbacks. As you can see, like, for example, this is a trade hardback. They're both from the library, because the library is the best place on earth. So this is a hardback, actually, but it's a trade, as in it's a collection of 4 issues in this one. And then this is a trade paperback, because it is floppy, it is paperback. But again, it's a trade because it's a collection of, I think, 12 issues. And then you have this. This is again, a trade paperback. And this collection, the DC Compact Comics, is really good if you want to get into comic books for the first time. At least that's what I've heard from people who know more than I do. I'm in the middle of this one. I'm really enjoying it, so I'm taking it very slow, because it's literally... Yo, comic books are fun. Who thought? Like, who would have known? Like, what? It's so fun. Anyway, this, I hate it. This is male fantasy, toxic masculinity, like alpha male, borderline incel stuff. To me personally, opinion, not a fact. Also remember, I am a newbie. I read this not with the background knowledge of comic books, but with the background knowledge of general culture, and especially like book culture. So if this were a book, this would be toxic masculinity, male fantasy book. I don't know if it's just my opinion or if it's a common opinion, but I really didn't enjoy this. I was hoping that it would, because again, it's a series of issues. It's like 12 issues. So it was like, okay, well, the first couple of issues are the setup, and then you're gonna have a turnaround. You know, the character needs to learn something or whatever. No, to be fair, this is volume 1, but because of how it was, it gave me zero interest in continuing. So I will not be continuing this story. But then I have, this is a self-contained story. It's Superman and the Authority by Grant Morrison. This was the Joker by James Tynion IV and Guillaume March. But this is Superman and the Authority. This was so much fun. Like I've seen a lot of people complain that it's not a full-fledged story, and it's because it's a prequel story. To me, it is really self-contained. It's kind of like a small window that you can expand on, but it's basically about Superman gathering a group of people that then he will go on to have adventures with, and this is the gathering part. And he does do adventures in different comic books, but with these people. But this is just the Avengers Assemble type of story, which I really enjoyed. These are the characters that are there, and it was actually like, what I loved about this that was really not present in here is that it was funny. I'm learning what I enjoy about comic books whilst I'm reading them. So I'm learning as I go along, and I love it when they're funny. I like a few of my favorite comic book heroes are Spider-Man and Deadpool, because they tend to be funny, witty, and like quippy. I love that type of hero. And there's a lot of that in here. There is some dark stuff as well, but it's really mild. Like, this is a good general audiences type of book. I mean, there's decapitation and you know, like torture and stuff like that, but in a very comic book friendly way. It is not lingering on how cool violence is, which it was this one. But I really loved it. There's amazing queer rap. I didn't know comic books were woke. I thought Superman 2025 was the first woke comic book thing coming out. No, comics are woke, guys. I didn't know that. I'm glad to know that. So I really, really enjoyed it. And also a cool thing about this one is that because it has a cast of characters, now I'm interested in all of these people. And now I can go and look for their stories in other runs, in other, storylines. Because I don't know if all of them have their own individual run, their own individual titles. I'm learning. I guess I'll figure out. Then I read something else. I think I read Harley Quinn collection, which is just one of these, but with all stories of Harley Quinn through the years, like from the 90s until the early 2000s, because I thought that Harley Quinn, like, I really love her in the animated series and in the movies that I've seen her in as a character, and I thought in the comic books I would be interested in reading her story. But from what I've heard, I'm not that interested in her character. But then I pivoted and I was like, you know who I've always loved? Poison Ivy. And you know why I've always loved Poison Ivy? Uma Thurman, the Tim Burton's series of Batmans, the most camp, queer-coded, crazy, silly Billy Batmans ever. They're amazing. And Uma Thurman was playing Poison Ivy in that movie, awakening something in my psyche, clearly. And so now I'm reading Batman Arkham, Poison Ivy. Batman Arkham is a series of books that focus on a villain of the Batman universe. You have the Joker, you have a bunch of them. I'm reading at the moment the Poison Ivy one, and I'm really enjoying it, especially because it starts from like the last century. Like the 1960s Batmans, then it goes into the 1980s, and then it goes to the 2000s. Like it's a collection. It's you get shown how the character changed, how it evolved from kind of like an introduction and a caricature of a villain to somebody who has its own psyche, its own characterization, and I love that. So I'm reading that. I'm in the middle of that, and I'm in the middle of this. This is Superman Birthright. Again, this is self-contained. It's by Mark Waid, which I've heard a lot of people mention as somebody who's really good in the DC comic book universe. And I'm really, really, really enjoying it. If you want to start reading Superman, I do highly recommend this. Especially if you want to start reading it after watching the movie, this is great because it gives you the same feeling. It's funny, it's hopeful, it's it's not giving you a sense of turmoil, but a sense of feeling lost and really working hard and wanting to find yourself. At least I'm halfway. That's what I'm getting, and I'm really, really, really enjoying it. And then lastly, I've started reading Mr. Terrific again because of the Superman movie, and that is something that has just come out the past 3 months. You have one issue per month, and so I've read the first 3 issues, and I'm then waiting to read the next ones. As you can see, I bought this. I got these from the library. Also so cool because I was in the library just getting a hold or something, and on the return tray that they have, they just had a series of comic books, and I was like, how did you know that I was getting into comic books? And so I just picked them up. I love that. Like, I love my library. Anyway, and then I'm reading some of them online. Like I'm reading Poison Ivy and Mr. Terrific online, especially because the Poison Ivy one, I wanted that specific edition. I cannot find anywhere. I mean, only on Amazon, but I don't buy from Amazon. So I'm reading it online. There's a lot of online places where you can just read them. So yeah, I have I'm really into comic books at the moment, so I'm focusing on that. And I'll if you're interested, I want to keep talking about it more because I'm having so much fun. And I'm having fun because I'm learning a whole new world of literature. So if you want to hear more about comic books, let me know. But yeah, now you know why I haven't been posting and what the issues are with my content creation at the moment. If you have any recommendation for editing software, books to read, and comic books to read, let me know in the comments, because I need some push to come back fully, because I'm feeling a bit like spread thin. So I would really want to engage more with booktube, because I do miss it. So yeah, thank you very much for listening to me, and I hope that you're having a lovely day. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.